Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Big Day Giving in Sacramento. You're with Major John Brackenberry. I'm the Divisional Commander for the Del Oro Division, which serves Northern California and Northern Nevada. And with me is
Lieutenant Larry Carmichael, Social Services Officer for right here in Sacramento County.
And we're here today talking about how you can help the Salvation Army help your fellow Sacramentans. And we've been talking about some great topics today that are, huge buzzwords really in the community. And we've been talking, in our first segment was talking about food insecurity, and our last segment we were talking about housing insecurity. And today, Lieutenant Larry, what are we going to be talking about in this segment?
Yeah, so in this this third and final segment, as we're looking at issues facing Sacramento and how we're working together to solve them, we're going to be looking at job insecurity. Job insecurity. Now, you might be thinking, why are we doing the fundraising? Why are we asking for your money? Why are we asking for your support? And, Major John, maybe you want to talk to the why.
Yeah. Well, the reason why is because we have a lot of people that are continuing to come to us who need help, and they need help with food and with housing and with jobs, among a lot of other things that the Salvation Army does each and every day. And so that's why this day, the big day of giving, is so important. Now, this is a program that has been going on for, since 2013, and they've raised over $52 million in that time to help nonprofits across Sacramento and the region. For 600 of those nonprofits that are helping Sacramentans across this area to get their lives back together. And so that's why this fundraiser is so important for us. We have a goal this year.
We do.
And what is that goal?
So our goal this year is $250,000, so a cold $250,000 to do some great things. Looking live at bigdaysac.org, bigdaysac.org, looking live. So far, we've brought in, we're close to this goal.
We are.
$232,427. Now, as we've mentioned in some of our previous segments, there's a number right below that on our screens that reads currently $71,486. And that's money left in the matching fund.
Right.
So, donate $1, it's paired dollar for dollar. So, if you had $10, donate it, we get benefit of $20. Have $100, $200 is made out of it. So that matching fund, help us put it to good use. Help us spend it all the way down.
Yep.
Not because we want to go well past our goal, but because lives need that investment.
Well, we do want to go past our goal.
We absolutely. We want to blow right past it and keep going.
You see, the $232,000 out of $250,000. But let me just tell you, the need is great. We have got so many people that are desperately needing the assistance that the Salvation Army provides each and every day, from housing, from food insecurities, to utilities and rental assistance and senior programs, children's programs, job. The list goes on and on and on about what the Salvation Army is able to do with the dollars that you support us with. So that is why this big day of giving is so vitally important. Major fundraiser for all nonprofits in this area, over 600, and the Salvation Army is one of those. So if you're listening to us right now and you haven't donated again, I would encourage you to donate right now, bigdaysac.org. Give what you can in order for us to be able to help the community. Tell your friends, and I've said it before, people are making fun of me about it, but tell your enemies, tell anybody, tell your grandmother, tell people in out of state to give, bigdaysac.org. We want to blow our goal out of the water in order to be able to help as many people possible as we can. Absolutely. And you can help make that happen. You are what help us do our job day in and day out. You're the army behind the army, and we want to thank you for your continued support. May not have just been financially, maybe it was volunteering, but thank you for what you do and what you continue to do and allowing us to be able to support this community.
Yes. All we can do is say thank you. And particularly at this moment, we want to say thank you to our Red Shield donors. These are individuals, entities, foundations that have given gifts of $30,000 or more. So we want to celebrate the Ralph and Marla Anderson Family Foundation for their gift, RCA Community Fund for their gift, and Nancy and Hank Fisher Family Fund, all of them believing in the Army mission and saying, here's our money, go change lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you, Red Shield donors. And then also a special thanks to Tri-Counties Bank, our Red Shield sponsor this year, and also recipient of our 2021 Spirit of Caring Award for their ongoing commitment. They've, in just the last few years, they have invested more than $500,000 into the Salvation Army's work here in Sacramento in rebuilding lives in Butte County, Yuba Sutter. We have a community center that they literally helped us open the doors to inspire families and give them a safe place to be as Paradise and the surrounding area rebuilds.
Yeah, I mean, they were a part of what was taking place. I mean, those are their communities where their people live and work, and they saw what we were able to do with our disaster services in those communities, and they stepped up. They said, we want to help, and not just by providing you some dollars, but we want to help by volunteering our time and giving back to this community and helping to rebuild. And they have been partnering with us for many years already, doing food drives, and then they've stepped up tremendously. So thank you, Tri-Counties Bank, for all that you've done and what you'll continue to do, and partnering with us to help rebuild lives, literally rebuilding communities. And that's what's so important right now.
It absolutely is. And we just really couldn't, the amount of trust that local business owners and business partners and foundations and others have in us and our work. Here in Sacramento County, we're celebrating greater than 136 years of continuous service.
Yep.
And any of the funds raised today, yes, it's being done virtually, but it's staying right here in Sacramento County.
Absolutely.
Yes, the Salvation Army serves a very big area. Delaware Division, Northern California, Northern Nevada.
That's a lot of territory.
I pray for you daily because, oh boy, that's big. But the funds raised today are Sacramento's. They're going here to fight our three large issues: food insecurity, housing insecurity, and today, and this hour's segment, job insecurity.
Yeah, and that's such an important factor for people who are trying to get their lives back together. This pandemic has wreaked havoc on so many lives, and some people are out of jobs and they can't get another job now. And so the Salvation Army is working with those individuals to help give them another job skill and teaching and training so that they can become self-sufficient once again. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But we want to get back to some more of our sponsors. We're talking about some of the sponsors, our kettle sponsors today, donating at least $5,000. So we want to say thank you to Ascent Builders, Blue Diamond, Nilo, Oak Valley Community Bank, Runyon Salzman, Safe Credit Union, Tykert, True Sense Marketing, Union Bank, and VSP. We have a special message now that we would like to share from Wendy Hauptman, the Chief Marketing Officer of VSP Global. Listen to her right now.
Hi, I'm Wendy Hauptman, Chief Marketing Officer for VSP Global. And on behalf of our organization, we are proud to support the Salvation Army on this big day of giving. Salvation Army in the greater Sacramento area helps over 30,000 people every year. So today, on this big day of giving, I hope that you can also support the Salvation Army or whatever your favorite nonprofit is that helps those in need here locally in our community. Thank you.
VSP, thank you again. We are so privileged to have you not only be a part of our advisory board here in Sacramento, but to have your vote of confidence through your donation.
Absolutely.
Now, turning to job insecurity. Before the pandemic, poverty rates in California were nearly 13%, according to the Public Policy Institute of California. We know that that was what was recorded, but reality was probably that it was much higher. Much higher. And one of the ways that we can look to our own services, to our own realities, our own experience to know that it was higher is about this time last year, we had 1,100% increase for demand of services.
That's just amazing.
1,100%.
Amazing.
We're still at that 300% above normal, and we know that that's not going away soon. Pandemic poverty, those that might have been financially secure before this started, are now finding themselves having to retool their lives. They've gone through their savings. They're showing up for the very first time asking for maybe a food box or retraining so that they can enter a new job, a new industry, and rebuild their lives. We know the need is great. And the people that show up to our doors, they don't always show up broken. They don't always show up knowing that they have need, but they want hope.
Yeah.
And we can deliver that. and
Absolutely.
critical training in other ways.
Yeah, and some of the programs that we've been doing, that the Salvation Army has been instrumental in, is creating workforce
Yeah.
jobs and learning and teaching people how to work in maybe fields that they've never experienced before. And so we have a
Exactly.
couple of those job trainings with construction and culinary. And I've actually had the opportunity to sample some of their
Yeah.
wares, and I'll tell you, they're doing a great job of
They
cooking.
do.
But those are some of the tools that we're teaching men and women in order to reclaim their lives again, so that they're not becoming victims of this pandemic, and that the Salvation Army is working tirelessly to help them reclaim their lives. And that's where this crucial training is so important. And we thank our community partners for coming alongside of us and helping us and supporting us in order to encourage them, providing them hope, providing them tangible ways that they can take their lives back in control and not have to feel hopeless about what is going on in their lives right now. We cannot do and serve the community alone.
No,
we
we
can't
cannot.
do it. It relies on a community coming together, and so our community foundations, our community sponsors, our community supporters, all of us coming together are able to help meet the needs that we see day in and day out. And our people are grateful for that, because we're providing them a sense of hope. We're giving them job training. We're giving them housing. We're giving them food. We're providing for their material needs to keep them in housing so they don't become homeless. And that's what this is all about. That's why the Big Day of Giving is so important. BigDaySac.org. We need your donations to help men and women reclaim their lives once again. It's so important. And we are so grateful for all of our community partners. And this year we're so grateful as well for Kitty O'Neill.
Yeah,
I know many of you
absolutely.
listen to Kitty O'Neill.
Yeah.
I've known her from our time before. Fantastic supporter of the Salvation Army. She's a board member now.
She is.
Part of KFBK. She's a radio host there.
Yes.
And I even had an opportunity to speak with her yesterday, but we're going to present the second part of our, or the third part of our.
part,
Yeah,
yeah.
third. We've done two already. We've done feeding, and now we've done homelessness, and now we're dealing with job performance. So she's going to
Yeah.
be coming on, and she did a segment and brought together some individuals.
She did.
To do an interview with them, some experts in the field. To talk about what is so important about
It
job
is.
retraining and,
Yeah,
and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so go ahead and settle in again and enjoy this conversation led by Kitty O'Neill, talking with some of our community leaders in retraining, redevelopment, and rebuilding lives. You won't regret taking time to watch.
So we are welcoming everyone to a roundtable discussion about job insecurity. And this is in conjunction with iHeartRadio and our local Salvation Army here in the Sacramento region. And we are focusing on job insecurity today because, of course, after the pandemic, everything has changed. If we were having this discussion pre-pandemic, it may be a very different one, but we're going to go around with our panelists and learn about what the situation is right now and ways that are being steps that are taken to address it and ways that we are addressing it. So we have a wonderful esteemed panel here with Larry and Bo and Julie and Jose. And so what I'd like to do is maybe just go around and have everyone introduce themselves, give us your affiliation and how you are involved in this particular topic, and then we'll expand upon it.
Well, I'm Lieutenant Larry Carmichael with Salvation Army. I have the privilege of serving here in Sacramento as the Social Services Officer, overseeing a number of programs, everything from sober living to family, transitional living to a shelter to food. It's a fun gig if you can get it.
Great. Okay, welcome, Larry. And Bo?
I'm Bo Castle, and I'm a program administrator for Sacramento Salvation Army Social Services. So I assist Lieutenant Larry in all those things that he described: transitional living, shelter, workforce development, all those components. So
Perfect. All right. And Julie?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm a workforce development manager here at SETA, Sacramento Employment Training Agency. I oversee the 13 of the 14 Sacramento Works America's Job Centers in the county, as well as our community service block grant funding. So we fund agencies like the Salvation Army to be those that are on the ground level, working face to face with individuals. So we're here to support the community to help everybody be self-sufficient.
Perfect. Thank you. And finally, Jose.
Thank you, Kitty. My name is Jose Bodipo Memba. I'm the Director of Sustainable Communities for SMUD. In that process, we have over 130 nonprofit partners and work with them on issues including job security, and we work with the Salvation Army. We also have a targeted regional workforce development effort and working with those same CBOs to ensure that job opportunities and job training and job readiness opportunities are offered throughout the region. We work closely with SETA on programs like that as well. So here with some familiar faces, all trying to solve a really important problem here in Sacramento.
Absolutely. Well, you know, you mentioned the problem, Jose, and maybe we can start with kind of defining what that is. I know as we've been doing our news stories throughout the year, we've talked so much about jobs and unemployment and the way that the whole job market has changed. And where we are now is we're starting slowly to come out of it. So, Jose, would you mind kind of starting out looking at this situation of job insecurity, how you've seen that change through the pandemic and what you think the needs are right now?
Sure, I'll give it a shot. I'm sure Julie in her day-to-day it deals with this at an even more detailed level. But, you know, working with, you know, historically underserved communities, primarily through sustainable communities and with the nonprofits that support them, when we saw the pandemic hit, the target of that pandemic effort and impact was really significant in those most underserved communities. So the jobs that were being lost or the jobs that were at risk were usually those populations that were lowest on the economic scales and those communities that had the least amount of resources. So we were really trying to figure out how could we not just get folks back to work, but get folks trained for the new jobs that would exist at post-pandemic. So again, I don't think many of us knew about Zoom before the pandemic happened. And now the concept of remote work and Zooming and what have you is a part of our day-to-day life. Similar things are happening as it relates to spaces like manufacturing and other areas. We've been partners with the California Mobility Center, and we realized for us to make that grow and electrification grow, that we need to have folks that are prepared to take those jobs on. So we've really been focusing on not just getting folks back to work, but getting folks trained for the jobs of the future that will be sustained and can provide a living wage. So we've been partnering with Salvation Army, with SETA and others on trying to identify job readiness and training programs, working with the Urban League, working with Asian Resources, La Familia, many others, and trying to make sure that we're making folks competitive for those opportunities, not just looking at a Band-Aid, so to speak. But there's no doubt in all the work that we've been doing that low-income communities, underserved communities are the ones that got hit the hardest. But I mean, I think Julie, I'm sure you can provide some more detail to that.
Sure, Julie.
Yes, yeah, when the pandemic first hit, of course, we were hearing about all the job losses that are taking place. And also understanding individuals, you know, needed a means to put food on the table as far as housing. So fortunately, we were able to have many grants that came our way that we were able to get that extra funding. Our community service block grant funding, while we were waiting for the CARES Act to come through, we actually moved funds from another area to be able to get it out to our providers to increase the amount of money they had to spend so that we can make sure that we weren't worried about having too many food insecurities and maybe it's a transportation to get to and from the stores. And then also rental assistance. Then as the CARES Act funding came under WIOA, we received additional funding. We were able to do a procurement to be able to work with, and as Jose said, work towards that self-sufficiency, not so much as a Band-Aid. So we do have family self-sufficiency programs under our CSBG funding, along with WIOA, where we're helping people look at, do they need to upskill? What are the jobs that are currently out there that they could do, and moving them forward so that meanwhile also helping with those resources where it comes with your regular daily expenses. UI helped because they did get that additional stimulus in their UI checks. But we've also noticed that that's kept some people from jumping right into looking for employment, because in some cases, as Jose said, a lot of those that were laid off in those harder to serve areas is that they were working in the restaurants, they were working in the retail, in the jobs where they're losing that. They didn't have a lot. So when they got that extra $600 a week, that ended up increasing, right, to where they were making more than probably what they had before. But at least it gave them that security too, because you also have that fear of going out because of COVID, being around people. So we're trying to look at the whole picture and how we can help people move into employment, and helping them with interviewing online. So we've opened up 2 of our SETA sites recently, and we're having cameras on the computer so they can actually learn how to use Zoom, how to do interviews, because that's the new way of doing things, right? So we've kind of even upskilled our staff too by learning Zoom. Most of our service has been done remotely, which has been great. So services are still happening in the community. And then as far as, looking at, we work closely obviously with EDD, the Employment Development Department. So looking at where the jobs are, where the layoffs are happening, but also where is the employment increasing. And in the March report from EDD, we're seeing that while trade, transportation, and utilities had lost 5,600 jobs in January, that let's see here, the trade and transportation utilities now has an increase of 1,100 jobs. So the jobs are starting to come back. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're seeing is, and the unemployment rate was, I don't even remember where it was at the peak, but it's now at 7.6% in Sacramento County, which we've seen before in the past, and we've been able to work through that. So I see that there's, hope getting these people working again and moving them forward. But most importantly, hitting those low-income areas and being able to build them up. I also work with Black Child Legacy campaign, which they're amazing. We have them linked to our, job center staff. So it's all about getting into the community and being able to bring the resources to them.
You said something so interesting to me, Julie. You were talking about the restaurants, and my husband's in the restaurant business. And what I find fascinating is they are having a hard time getting people to work. In fact, their company is offering hiring bonuses and referral bonuses if you refer someone and they actually sign on to the job. I mean, there's incentives now for people to come back to work. So I think that's kind of interesting. And we'll go to our Salvation Army friends. I know you have a hand in the restaurant industry too with some of your training. So Lieutenant Carmichael and Bo, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, we are seeing folks return to the workforce, but we're also seeing that reluctance to return to the workforce in some situations. Sometimes it's motivated by the fear of the virus itself. They're waiting to be vaccinated or get to a point where they feel safe to exit their home and back into the workforce. Some, they're waiting for the school district to be able to reopen full time before they have proper childcare so they can return back. But in the meantime, Salvation Army, we of course are trying our best to get information out to the communities of what resources are available to them, whether it's SETA or energy help with SMUD or what have you. But then we also have our 2 workforce development programs, one in construction and one in culinary. So there's our restaurant connection. Right. And maybe Bo, you can talk about how the recruiting process is going and how the training is.
Yeah, we're in process of interviewing and recruiting people right now to both of those workforce development programs. One of the kind of unique things about our Salvation Army program, maybe not unique in overall, there's several others doing this, but is wraparound services. So we're providing transitional living with these other services such as workforce development. So someone can enter into our 16-week program where we provide training in the culinary arts so they could work in the restaurant industry, but also in any kind of kitchen industry where For example, right now maybe hotels have downsized their kitchen, but hospitals haven't. So there's still that opportunity where you could find work in that industry. So we provide training for that in conjunction with these other services. So we have transitional living opportunities combined with that workforce development training that helps those that are coming out of homelessness or unhoused or who are near homeless or been in danger of that. And in things like a global pandemic, it kind of it gets pushed down, right? Those that were kind of at the bottom of that social class in terms of their income and components of where they were on that kind of scale, the lower middle class kind of, some lose their jobs, and then now we find people that are competing sometimes in the same jobs and the same pay levels, right? People are taking a reduction in salary or trying to find work. And so we're trying to provide that connection to the job training so that we can put people into jobs that do have potential security in the long term. Construction as well. So we have a 6-week program and are recruiting and interviewing. And so every week we've got 4, 5, 6 people that are coming through and even higher. We've had to kind of, have slowed down as well because of COVID, because our limitations on how many we could house in our transitional living center and at the shelter. But now, as things are starting to slowly open up, we're also expanding those capacities and expanding the number that we can have in our programs. So.
Yeah, that's great. Great, Bo. Well, why don't we maybe take one more spin around here with everyone and maybe look a little bit more to the future. And I don't know if you, Jose, want to expound on this, but I found it really interesting, the remark that you made about the jobs that have changed during the pandemic or new jobs that have been created during the pandemic. We've seen a lot of that, which I find fascinating. And I don't know if that would factor into what you want to share now, but if it does, I'd love to hear.
Oh, definitely. Again, I think that when you take a look at what's happening in the city and the county and at SMUD, one of the things that has been a big issue is issues of climate change. And as we try to make climate change improvements, there's lots of opportunities in the job sector to actually be a part of that new climate change economy. From President Biden's administration, there's billions of dollars that being funded for new jobs and infrastructure improvements. And SMUD's working on its 2030 plan to become a zero carbon organization. That means we're going to see in the coming future building electrification, more EVs, EV installation, charging installation, things in that space. And that means jobs. So that means that we have to get folks trained up in those spaces. So again, things like autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, all sorts of different types of transportation modes are going to be happening. We want to make sure that the folks that are at Salvation Army, folks that are going through SETA, have the skill sets and capacities to do that work. An example is, a mechanic today versus a mechanic 10 years from now will be completely different. Coding will be a key component of what they need to know to be able to fix a car. I can barely use a wrench, so I can only imagine how hard it is to do. So we want to get folks scaled up now. So that, I think there's an opportunity to capitalize on that climate change focus that the city of Sacramento is doing, that SMUD's doing, the county and others, to really look at retraining folks in those new career spaces. The other is just our investment in STEM, is we're really trying to make sure that we're working not just with folks who are displaced, but students who are preparing for those spaces. We want to give them the core competencies so that when they go into the programs that SETA has and that Salvation Army has and others, that they can actually hit the ground with a running start, and then provide them with examples of folks who have their experience, who grew up in their neighborhoods, they can relate to. So there's that confidence there. So definitely there's going to be a number of jobs that we don't even know are there. With Governor Newsom saying in 2035, all new vehicles will be all electric. We have to be prepared for that. So that's what we're really trying to get folks geared up for. And our 2030 plan will help us execute. And SETA and Salvation Army have been great partners. So I hope that helps answer the question. I get really excited when I start talking about that part. So
no, that's good. We like.
If I could jump in, I know you want to go around the circle, but if I could just jump back in, Jose just got me really excited about some of the things that are going on. First thing I want to say is just the partners that we have, the Salvation Army has, that we couldn't do the work that we do with people that are in crisis, near crisis, coming out of crisis, without those partners. So we partner with SMUD through our family services in terms of, rental and in particular for them, utility assistance for those that are, going through or in danger of having their electricity turned off. And so partners like that are just crucial. SETA as well, just, key partners. But I don't know if we're quite ready to mention because we're in early talks, but one of the things that Jose mentioned is some of these future opportunities. And one of the things that we're in the early discussions with is, as part of our construction workforce development training, is adding on another component related to solar energy. So trying to, kind of make some of these workforce development training opportunities, somewhat, crisis proof, if you will, trying to plan for the future and where is the economy going and where is, energy going in that direction. In addition, for our culinary side, we also have a brand new externship that we're developing, not an internship, but an externship, where once they've completed their regular kitchen work program, they can train on a barbecue smoker and actually, go out into the community and learn not only the behind the scenes kitchen work, but also the kind of front of house stuff, how to serve and those components, where they could literally be prepared to start up their own business. So it's coming at it from a variety of angles and connecting with key partners. And that was done through several partners in the community, several in the restaurant industry who have helped us out and inspired us and pushed us along to say, you really need something like this so that, people can go through that program, but then have that extra training where they could potentially be ready for any kind of shifting patterns that might happen in the marketplace, that they could start up their own business. They could run their own food truck after they've done with that externship. They know how to do it. They've gotten training from both sides, the behind the scenes and the upfront. And so it takes, key partners like SMUD, like SETA, like people in various industries to do that we couldn't do it without them. So it's super helpful. We're so grateful.
Bo, I just real quickly on the solar thing, thanks for catching that. I totally left that out. That's a huge space. And I just want to give extra credit and a shout out to Dusty Baker and Baker Energy. They actually helped pilot our solar training program this last year. And again, we're gonna have 100 more solar installers trained with grid alternatives. So Bo, we're ready to work with you guys on that too. That's gonna be another area of growth. So excited.
Can't tell you how excited we are. It's a neat opportunity.
That's great. Oh, I love hearing about that. That's wonderful. Well, Julie, did you want to, I know you have a lot to share, so.
Right. Well, I know when you guys were talking about training, one of the things that we had started doing here in Sacramento County was utilizing the metric system, which is an online training. And we started that pre-COVID, but in the COVID world, it's become a great training source because we can meet with a customer virtually and set them up with this metrics training program. Because a lot of our training providers, as did a lot of companies, had to take time away to reinvent themselves. How do you do this with social distancing? So we were able to put people into these programs where they could learn anything from the Microsoft package to customer service skills to project management. So there's a lot that can be gained from it. And it was also, it was working so well that we've also reached out and we're in our capital region, we're using the system with Placer County, El Dorado County, Yolo, North Central Consortium. So we've been able to expand it further so that we can be able to help somebody that comes in right away, and then we can assess them and then refer them out to other training providers too. But it gives them a starting point to start building some skills and being engaged. So, so that's something that's been helpful. And as Jose said, and Bo may have said it too, but we can't do it without the partners. Each individual that comes to us, there's so many wraparound services that are needed that we have to work together to make this happen. Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Agency, there's Sarah 1 and 2 program, which has been a lifesaver for a lot of our individuals because of being able to pay that back rent, is helping so many people in our community. And then SMUD, I know has helped with the utilities, is not having their utilities shut off during this time. And I know the Sarah 1 and 2 program also helped pay for utilities. So that's something that, really looking at how do you get somebody in that where they can focus on work. And, in the restaurant industry, we definitely want to keep that going because we need our restaurants.
Yeah.
So anything we can do to help to try to, get people employed in those spaces too, so we can get our restaurants back up to speed is definitely a key.
Yeah, great. Well, Lieutenant Carmichael, did you want to add something at this point?
I want to echo what's been said. The reality is that it takes a community to care for the community, and we have phenomenal partners in SETA and in SMUD and in the Mulvaney's, they're the B&L, who help with their culinary, the partners over at Labor Union with construction, etc. It takes the community to care for the community. And Julie's so right. It's not just getting them the training, it's making sure they're at a place in their life to where they can accept the training and be available to the training and show up to the training. And so that's everything from childcare to utility assistance to rental assistance to a listening ear to understand that they're in crisis and therefore we need to receive them as a person in crisis and help them feel hope again. And so I'm just thankful for the community of Sacramento and our community partners that help us continue to make Sacramento a great place to live and thrive.
Wonderful. Well, I sure learned a lot about how you all are working together in concert, and there's so many things going on behind the scenes. I think it's really encouraging to hear what's going on, and I feel like we're going to get out of this pandemic and we're going to do it with flying colors. So, especially with folks like you on everybody's teams.
Good afternoon, welcome back, and thank you, Kitty, for that panel discussion, and we're so grateful for you stepping in and helping us to better understand the workforce development programs that we have going on and why that's such a need here in Sacramento County. I'm Major John Brackenberry, Divisional Commander for the Del Oro Division, which serves Northern California and Northern Nevada, but we are here today for the big day of giving. And with me I have
Lieutenant Larry Carmichael, Social Services Officer for right here in Sacramento County. And just a special thanks again to Kitty, but also to those that made the time to be part of the panel discussion. Big thanks to Jose over at SMUD, Julie over at SETA, and then Bo, who we get to have as part of our team, helping create solutions to all these insecurities.
Yeah. So, workforce development is a huge thing right now, and it allows for men and women to maybe learn a different trade that they didn't have before because they've lost their jobs or they're out of jobs and they just need something to help them be able to become self-sustainable again. So in this live segment that we're doing in the Big Day of Giving, which your donations will help us to continue providing workforce development. We're going to be discussing workforce development and job insecurity and why that's important. Again, your donations, your support help us to be able to help individuals. So bigdaysac.org. We are close to that goal of $250,000. But again, that's just a number. We want to continue to receive your donations because your donations allow us to help change people's lives. That's the most important thing and what we're looking forward to today.
Absolutely. And here in the Sacramento area, we have the privilege of leading two workforce development programs, one in culinary arts and the other one in construction. And with those programs, they've been operating now. Our culinary arts is in its 4th year. Our construction's in its 2nd year. We're pumping out up to 100 graduates per year. We think our capacity is even more than that. But as we continue to refine those systems and the recruiting and everything else. But of those that have come through, we have almost 100% job placement.
Yeah, that's
And,
amazing.
and not just right out the door as they finish, because that is happening,
Yeah.
but also we're tracking them for 2 years and watching and making sure that they're having success. And so, we welcome back and we talk to our alumni, that are now 4.5, 5 years ago, culinary students that are still in the industry, loving it.
Yeah.
And we literally gave them the knives and the skills to rebuild their lives, and they're doing it.
And the amazing thing with that program, the culinary program, is that individuals are learning so much more. They're not doing a heat and serve.
No.
This isn't going to like the store and buying a frozen meal, popping it in the microwave and calling yourself a culinary chef. They are going through a rigorous training.
They are.
They learn the basics. My wife said I should probably go to do that and help to be able to cook some food at home. But they're learning what types of meats there are, how to cut them, and how to prepare them. Learning those types of skills is really, truly important. That not just learning how to cook, but learning how to do job interviews, learning all of the components about the culinary program, so that they're not just going out and working in a fast food industry. Some of these individuals are going out and working in some top-end restaurants here in Sacramento.
They are.
And it's a great thing for them to be able to do this. It's giving them a whole new job profession, which is allowing them to become self-sustainable. And as Lieutenant Larry said, their jobs are ready for them even before they leave the program.
They are.
Almost 100% job placement.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. And that all comes to play because of your donations. Giving at bigdaysac.org allows men and women to learn a new trade so they can become self-sufficient, so they can stay in their homes, they can feed their families, they can feel a sense of hope and accomplishment of what they've been able to do and go back out into the workforce again.
Absolutely. We actually got to hear last week from one of our culinary graduates who now works for us on our Alhambra campus, preparing the breakfast and lunch and snacks for our preschoolers, our little ones, our adorable ones. And that was Alicia Patterson, and she shared with us that through that program, she didn't just learn skills, but she found purpose. Yeah. And that's what the culinary program does. That's what the construction program does. And the culinary program, like I've mentioned, we're in multiple years in now to it.
Right.
Now, one of the things that we discovered is a weakness is that, yes, we were training them how to do banquets. We were training them how to prepare, mass feeding and talk about, they provide all the meals at our Center of Hope.
Right.
If you're looking for a good meal, stop by the Center of Hope.
Oh my
You
gosh.
will not be disappointed. But we discovered that we also needed to skill them in cash management. Mm-hmm. We needed to skill them in business inventory and operation, and just those front of house operations.
Absolutely.
And so,
critical.
in the reaching out to our advisory board members, we had Bob Mulvaney of the B&L, Mulvaney's B&L, and she came to us and goes, "I have the solution for you. You need to start a pop-up barbecue."
Oh, now you're speaking my love language, barbecue.
Yes, and so she came to us and says, "Here's a business plan. I'm going to help you execute it." And so we are able to now prepare and put to the streets a pop-up barbecue, large thing, custom made for us, so that we can smoke as many meats as we want to.
Now you're talking about this, and ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, last week I went down to the Pathway of Hope, and we walked through the building and we did a tour. We did another Facebook Live talking about the big day of giving here, and we got to have lunch. And oh my goodness, they set down this feast, and it just smelled delicious. It was smoked turkey, unbelievable. And I got to see this smoker at our warehouse just a few days ago, and I walked up and I opened it. Oh my goodness, the waft of barbecue just filled the air, and I can't wait to sample some of that.
And I have to tell you, I'm already figuring out my 4th of July plans because it sounds like that rig's going to be in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
But that's a great opportunity for individuals to learn a different trade, a different craft, and not just, again, they're not heating and serving, they're cooking. They're learning how to do the very basics of cooking, as well as the management aspects, the ordering aspects, customer service aspects, things that they can utilize in so many other ways, in so many other venues, and that's just a tremendous thing. And so workforce development is so vitally important to help individuals who need to get a new lease on life.
Absolutely.
And what a great thing it is to have our sponsors and individuals who are saying, I've got a solution to that. That's what this is what is so great about Big Day of Giving is that people are not just giving monetarily, but they're giving of themselves to help others reclaim their lives.
They are.
That is such a tremendous value. And so we thank them for stepping forward and helping out with that.
Absolutely.
And with workforce development, we want to introduce you to Gregorio. And he is one of many of our workforce development students.
Yes.
I've had a chance to watch this video. I want you just to sit back and listen to this man's story about what the Salvation Army Workforce Development Program was able to do for his life.
It all worked out for me.
Gregorio already beat the odds once. After he says he served time in prison for a drug offense, he started his own business in Sacramento.
You know, when it's good, it's good. Money was good, everything was great.
But then, his little boy came down with a mysterious illness.
He started getting blisters all over his face and his fingernails were falling off. We were in and out the hospital, like he almost died 3 times. I missed a lot of work. Cars are repoed. Started getting behind on rent, and you know, people don't understand. My son's sick. So I was with them. I dropped everything.
After years of medical bills and no diagnosis, they finally tested their home.
We had airborne black mold.
To save their son, they left their home. His fiancée and children went to live with extended family. Gregorio stayed behind in Sacramento to try and rebuild their lives.
So I set out this plan and I got that tent. I remember thinking to myself, it's not going to take that long. I'm going to be able to get through it. I'm going to be able to do it. 8 months later, my daughter's first birthday, and I'm just like, man, I'm still here. I'm reaching out to Salvation Army. As a man that's prideful, I didn't really want to do that. But as I started calculating and thinking about it, it was amazingly apparent to me that I wasted so much time just ego.
A caseworker got the family into the E. Claire Rayleigh Transitional Living Center, bringing them back together after nearly a year.
I got my family back. That's amazing.
Gregorio was also able to enroll in the Salvation Army Construction Training Program, helping him begin a new career to support his family.
And I just can't say how happy I am now that I've been educated in this, because the certifications are amazing. We have 9 certifications that just changed the whole workforce game. Like, I can't wait to get to work. I'm so excited.
A chance to begin again. Gregorio says he'll never forget it.
For the rest of my life, I'm going to help Salvation Army any way I can. Because some people need it. And not everybody's a bad guy. Not everybody that had used or been to prison is a bad person. People make mistakes and people learn to change. And they help you with that here. And I just can't thank you guys enough.
Gregorio's story is a story that speaks to my heart and touches my soul. Here is a man who did what he could to save his son's life, and of no fault of his own wound up being homeless and without a job. It's because of supporters like you, our foundational supporters, our sponsors, individuals who give of themselves, that this man's family has been brought back together again, and that he's been able to find a job in our workforce development program. This just, it truly speaks to what the Salvation Army does for people, and changing and helping them to reclaim their lives and bringing families back together again. Such an inspirational story, and one that I think for many people, there's a stigma that comes with homelessness.
Yes.
That people have chosen that way of life, or they're there because of poor choices in their life. And here's an individual that became homeless, no fault of his own. And it's through the support of individuals, again, that are watching us right now. It's through your support that we were able to help get this man's family back together, give him a job so that he can provide for his family. I mean, what an inspirational story. It gets me all choked up, because this is what we do. This is why we do this.
That's true.
Gosh, Salvation Army, the big day of giving, we need your support. We are so close to reaching our goal, but it's not the number. It's not the number, it's the people. It's Gregorio's, it's people like him. That's why we're doing this. That's why we need your support. We need you to go online right now, bigdaysac.org. Go to that website and donate. Have your friends, have your enemies. I've been saying that all afternoon. Just get somebody, if they've never supported the Salvation Army before, this is a story to get them to give. And the reason why we do what we do is to provide hope for a family. This man who never wanted, or didn't really want us to help, but he was a little proud, I might say.
He shared that his pride was holding him up, his ego was holding him up, that he had wasted that time, but he finally reached out.
Right. And here's what I would say too. Yes, we need your support, but if you know of people, if you know of individuals who are struggling right now and have never heard of what the Salvation Army can do to help them, now is the time to let them know, hey, the Salvation Army can help you. Don't be too proud. There are people out there that you may know that may need of our services in some way or form, and we want to be able to help, because that's what we are here to do. And through your support, we can help those individuals. So bigdaysac.org. We're almost to that goal. Let's blow this out of the water this year. I don't even want to talk about the goal anymore. We just need your support, because what you're able to give helps us to help people. That's the most important thing.
Yes. Yes, it is. And, and Greg is one of our, so far, almost 80 graduates from the construction training program.
That's amazing.
And right now, as we sit here, just a short distance away in downtown, we have another 10 individuals that are going through that training. Yeah. And they're in week 3 of the 6-week training, and we already have trade organizations that are reaching out saying to us, hey, when are they done? We're ready to put them to work. Right. And so, we get the joy of seeing them grow in excitement over their skill sets, growing in excitement as they memorize those safety things. And like Greg, with him, that in every house that he now walks into, he's looking out for the lives of others. Oh, absolutely. That if there's any hint of mold, he's going to be sharing his story and probably digging into those walls to help rebuild and save that life. And I want to say that he even went out and got a special certification for hazardous material removal. So we're just so blessed to be part of his journey, part of his story, and so many more. Absolutely. So many more. And we can't do that without our sponsors.
Absolutely.
And
that's really what it comes down to.
It is, yeah.
We are able to help people like Greg because of folks like you that are supporting us. That's what it comes down to. You're the army behind the army. You are the ones that are able to help us change people's lives. I mean, it's just such an amazing story, and it just brings hope to me. That we're doing the right thing. We're doing the most good with the most resources that we have available. So again, please go online, bigdaysac.org. Support us. Get your friends online to help support us. Share this on Facebook as well, and on Instagram and Twitter and whatever other kind of social platform you have. And just because we go off the air here shortly doesn't mean you still can't give.
Exactly.
Maybe people are working, they don't have time to be able to log on right now and do that. I get that tonight when you're at home. Think about Gregorio's story and the fact that you've got a home and you've got a job, and that, you know, this is a way that maybe you can help somebody who's just been thrown a left curve and, you know, just needing some support somehow.
Agreed. And before we get to talking about our drum level sponsors, that just a few soldiers of our Army behind the Army, I want you to know that our culinary arts program is ready to go to work. You know, that one of the ways that we fund that program is not just through donors, but, you know, as your offices begin to reopen, as you have different events coming up, we're happy to help create a menu for you, cater it, and it's not just a way to financially support that program, but it's on-the-job training.
Absolutely.
So that they might go work, you know, at the convention center that's almost remodeled and ready to open, as banquet captains and everything else. So, you know, take advantage of that opportunity that is really a shining star, I think, here in Sacramento.
And I would even go so far as to say this, that if you're out there and you've got a business, you have an enterprise or something that you think, hey, you know, maybe we have an opportunity for a workforce development program, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear how we can maybe incorporate a whole different avenue by which men and women can get jobs and get back to work, give them a sense of hope, let them reclaim their lives again, and to be able to be productive citizens and bring their families. This is such a fantastic opportunity.
I don't know. You've talked about, you know, this is the reason behind our why. But I have to tell you, it's the best gig that I could ever get.
Oh, absolutely.
I love being an officer. I love hearing these stories, and getting to spend most of my day just literally saying thank you. Saying thank you.
I have often said that, you know, there is no other job that I would rather do, and it's not a job, it's a ministry.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean. There is nothing else I would rather do than do what I'm doing. To hear stories like this and know that we have, in some small way, an opportunity to impact somebody's life. And you have that opportunity to impact people's lives as well. BigDaySac.org. You can help make an impact on people's lives. Allow us to be able to do that. It's so important. And I'm so encouraged by the donations that we've seen today. We still have matching dollars that are out there. Don't let those go to waste. We need it so badly. We don't want to let those dollars go away. And we are sitting right now at our tote board. We're just getting it thrown up in front of us right now. $249,854. We are almost there. We are almost there. We need your support.
We do.
There are lives that are depending on you. And I'm not saying this for dramatic purposes. You've seen this story. We see them. We hear them day in and day out. People need your support. They need you to help us help them. So thank you for what you've done, for what you continue to do, for supporting us, whether it's your time, your talent, your treasure. We are just so grateful. And I know we've got a litany of supporters that we've got a huge list of people that we want to thank because you support us. And you know, and here's the thing, we've got some incredible donors that have given lots and lots of money. And then we have individuals who are giving every ounce that they have. Every dollar counts and every dollar matters. And so we want to provide you the names of our drum sponsors and share with you in grateful appreciation to those that are giving. So Lieutenant Larry, you start off here.
I'm going to kick it off. Our drum sponsors, so those that gave $2,500, just a special thanks to SKK Developments, Greg Thatch, Jim and Janet Eldridge, Bill Martin, Buzz Oates, and the Morgan Stanley Gift Fund, Central Valley Community Bank, Delfino Madden, Descor Builders, Franklin Templeton, Gilbert Associates Inc., Larry Booth, Merrill Lynch, Newmark and John Frisch, Pacific Coast Building Products, Premier Security Group, Remy Mose, Manley LLP, Shutter Electric, and UCP, our drum sponsors, you guys rock.
Yeah, it's a huge list of individuals that we are so grateful for. And I've got a list as well, and we want to appreciate and give a shout out to our tambourine sponsors, and those are individuals who have given a donation of $1,500 or more. And so we want to say a thank you to Rick Steer, Brian Barzak, Kimmel Construction, Booton Jones, Brown Construction, Capital Builders Hardware Inc., CBRE, Deloitte, Diane Mizell, Dignity Health, Earl Consulting LLC, Excel Bonds and Insurance Services, Fiserv, Future Automotive Group Nissan, Jane and Jeff Einhorn, Gene Reeves Consulting, Cornerstone Inc., Mel Oos, Merchant Bank of Commerce, Ravel Rasmussen Properties, Restuka and Harrison Inc., Rick and Nanette Fowler, Royal Electric Company, Sisler and Sisler, Sierra National Construction, Speaker Series UC Davis Health, UCP, UKG and Ultipro, and Wendy Houtman. Now, I just want to say I apologize if I did not pronounce your name correctly, but thank you anyway. Your gifts are tremendous. Your support is truly appreciated. You have helped change the lives of the individuals. If you've been with us through all three segments, you've seen the lives that have been changed through the continual support and donations from people like you. Thank you so much. BigDayOrg.com. I would love to say, before we close this segment, that we've reached our goal of $250,000. But even with that, we're not done.
No.
And the giving still is able to happen until 11:59 p.m.
Yes, it is.
So if you've made a donation, praise God, thank you for that. Thank you for your generosity. I appreciate it. I would encourage you to make contact with other individuals. Doesn't even have to be here in Sacramento. It could be outside. We don't care because the money will still come here and help. And I'm sure they don't care either. They'd love to help out as well. But let them know of what the Salvation Army is doing in your community to help to provide support to men and women who desperately need hope right now. In a time where we need hope, and people need to grasp onto something, now is that time.
It absolutely is. And you know, and we've spoken to this before. You know, you may not have 2,000 to give, but you know, 2 mites is still a great gift. It's going to be invested into rebuilding a life. It's going to be invested to rebuild and provide hope, provide purpose. There's, you know, I love one of our slogans at Christmas that we put above our red kettles. You know, expect change. Yeah, we're asking for change, but expect change from it. And you know, and I don't know about you, but when I give $1, I want it to go far. I want it to make as much impact as possible. It's why I literally donate back to the Salvation Army, because I believe in it that much.
Absolutely.
I just don't show up to a job, and it's not a job, it's a ministry. Not, you know, to collect a paycheck. I show up because I get to talk to Greg. I get to talk to Alicia. I get to talk to
Sharon from the housing. I mean, it's just the numbers of people that we get to interact with daily. We are privileged to do that because of your donations. And it allows us to be able to share those stories with you, to see how we as a community are coming together to help individuals who really and truly need it.
It's true.
And you know, it's a truly a great thing. BigDaySac.org. BigDaySac.org. Go there now, make a donation. I'm not sure, where are we at on the tote board?
Looking at it live, we're at $249,854. We are so close.
We're so close.
We're $100. $136, $146. The quick math here. I promise. I'm good with numbers. $146 away from our goal, hitting our goal. But if you look there, we still have $65,572 in the matching bucket.
In the matching. So you give $1, we get $1. I mean, if you're online right now, I mean, we just get a few people, we'll be able to make that goal. But we still have $65,572 of matching dollars that are just sitting there waiting. We don't want to lose those and let them go to waste.
So that $65,000, if it's matched, that means I can house. And my math might not be perfect. It's being done in real time here.
Out there.
Yeah. But that I can house 40 veterans in 1 month with that money.
Yeah, and those are individuals who desperately they've given to their country.
Yeah.
And now we could give back to them and help them get their lives back together, and
absolutely.
Get them off the street and help provide them a warm bed and food and maybe some job skills and get them into some programs to be able to help them.
Absolutely. If that $65,000 is matched, I can have another 5 stories about families reunited at our Eclair Rayleigh Transitional Living Center. Another 5. The families rebuilt, reunited, reconnected. I love, and we didn't even touch some of the stories where husbands and wives have been counseled back together. As the husbands are living in our sober living environment, we bring the mom and kids out of the car into Eclair Rayleigh, and through case management and social work, bring them back together as husband and wife. It's rebuilding families, rebuilding this community.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, we haven't touched on it. But for many families who go homeless, they have to be split up.
Yes.
Dads go someplace and moms go someplace with the kids. And, we are about reuniting families and bringing them together. And Eclair Rayleigh does that.
It does.
It allows that to happen. Families get to stay together, not have to be separated. I can't imagine if my wife and kids had to be put someplace else and I'm in a shelter by myself. That would tear me up, which is why a lot of people probably are out on the streets, because they don't want that to happen. They don't want to be separated from their families. We have the opportunity to keep them together. Eclair Rayleigh Transitional Living Program does that.
It does.
Your donations help to keep those families intact, keep them off the streets. Your donations help us to be able to provide food on the table, utilities and rental assistance to keep people from becoming homeless in the first place, along with all the other programs and services that the Salvation Army does each and every day. Your support is so vital. It helps really provide hope to men and women and families. And so we're grateful for your support. BigDaySac.org. Please go and donate. We're almost there. I've not checked it in the last few moments.
We're at the doorstep of it. We're at the threshold, but we're not there. Now, as ministers, as ministers of the gospel of Jesus Christ, normally we tell and encourage people, be humble. I'm going to tell you right now, don't be. If you gave, share it. Share it on social media. Challenge your friends and family members, because you're partnering for good. You're joining us for good. You're transforming lives for good. So share it. You're sharing about the good work that you're becoming a part of.
You have an investment in this community, and you are helping to rebuild lives. You're helping to bring families back together. You're helping to give men and women the opportunity to find new professions, and you're helping to feed individuals who may not have money that they've started dipping into what little savings that they have left because of this pandemic, and you're giving people an opportunity to find housing and jobs. And I'm rambling now, but your help is needed.
It is.
It is truly needed, and your support is truly appreciated, all that you are able to give. So again, BigDaySac.org. Help us to reach that goal of $250,000. And again, don't let that $66,572 of matching funds go unclaimed. We want to be able to claim that, because the more money that we get, those are more lives that we are able to help and to support. And that's why we're here. That's what we are here, and that's just what this is all about.
It is. It is. It absolutely is. Before final words, I just want to say a special thanks to our entire media team. They have put in so much work and effort behind the scenes to pull this off. To our advisory board members for being willing to pick up the phone and challenge their friends and challenge themselves, and reach out to their business partners and our community partners themselves. we could not do what we do today without those partnerships, without that collaboration, without our team. And just so thank you to you all, and so honored, so privileged to serve here in Sacramento alongside you all.
Yeah, this has been a tremendous opportunity for me. Just coming back to Northern California from spending the last 2.5, almost 3 years in Alaska. This is a place where we have spent many years before. My wife and I were program secretaries for the Salvation Army here in Northern California and helped with a lot of what we see happening right now. And I was doing the job that Lieutenant Carmichael is doing now, overseeing the programs and services here in Sacramento County. And it was a blessing then, and it was such a great opportunity for me to come back and see some of those programs that we talked about before I left actually coming to fruition. The transitional housing program was one of those, and we are just so grateful for that program and for the impacted lives that have taken place because of that.
I try not to have favorites, but it sure is one of them.
Yeah, Sacramento is a great area, a great community. We have seen support time and time again, and so it's a blessing to be back here and to work alongside of all of you. So again, thank you for all that you have done. We have gone over our time. We're almost at that mark. So we know, I have faith that we will come through and we will make that mark of 250,000 and beyond, because that's why we're here. BigDayOfGiving.org, or BigDaySac.org, but Big Day of Giving is the day that we're here and we're promoting this. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for what you do, for allowing the Salvation Army to be a part of your life, and that you are a part of ours, and we are so very grateful for all of that. Thank you for helping to make a difference in the lives of men and women, boys and girls that we come into contact with each and every day. It's truly appreciated. We hope if you've stayed with us all afternoon, we are appreciative of that. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the hashtags that go on. Keep up to date with what we're doing here in your community, in our community.
Yes.
You'll get to hear what is taking place. You'll get to hear some of the stories. You'll get to see some of the events and things that are taking place to help make Sacramento and this region a better area for all.
Yes.
Lieutenant Larry, I don't know if you have any other closing comments that you want to say?
My final comment is a thanks to you. You arrived just a short while ago and jumped feet first, and we sprung a lot on you, and you have done more than rise to the occasion.
Well,
so.
it's been our pleasure, and we really appreciate being able to come alongside and to help and to support in any way that we can. And we look forward to many years of being able to work in this division, work in Sacramento, see things happen, see things changed, and to create new opportunities for service that the Salvation Army can do in this community. We're so grateful for that. Oh my gosh, look at this. We hit our goal. Just before we were signing off, we are right now $250,000 and $2. We made the goal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. God bless you all for your support. It's truly appreciated.
Yes.
And I'll be thank you for what you do. We know that God is going to bless because He has promised to do so.
Amen.
We've met our goal, but we are not done.
No.
We are not done. We will continue to send out information. We will continue to contact, and I would encourage you to continue to contact people and let them know what good can from the donations that they make to the Salvation Army. BigDaySac.org. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being a partner with us in this community. It's greatly appreciated. And God bless all of you. And may the dollars that we raise this day go to help serve even more people, to bring a sense of hope, which is what we're all about. Amen. God bless you all. Thank you. And keep donating, keep pushing this forward, keep talking about it. And God bless you all. Thank you.